I'm almost hesitant to tell you this story because it never fails. Whenever I tell you one of these types of stories, I get comments months down the road about what an imbecile I am. But you know what? I've made a fool of myself many times over. And I never let something as silly as a little comment stop me from sharing what happened to me with you. So I'm walking on my lunch hour today and I notice movement on the ground. And it's a worm, and the worm is flip-flopping. I mean, it's actually kind of popping up into the air and turning itself over. It's like a fish out of water. So I said, look at that worm, it's spastic. And my friend said, it's a worm. And I bent down and, kind of picked it up and put it in the grass. And she said, oh, you must have been a Buddhist in a previous life. I said, no, that's not it. I have no qualms about killing spiders. I do always say go on to a better life right before I smush it. But that wasn't it. I just saw something that looked like it was really struggling. My first thought was that maybe the pavement was too hot. No, I don't know the first thing about worms. Maybe their skin can take hot pavement. Maybe something else. I don't know if they can have fits, but it certainly looked like it was having some sort of epileptic fit. Anyhow, I just thought putting it in the grass might be a better environment for it, and we kept on walking, so I don't know if it survived or not. I immediately thought of when I was a little kid. I used to go up to the corner house on our street, and my friend Jerry and I would cut worms in half, because if you ever cut a worm in half, you know that both halves seem to stay alive. They both will go in their own direction. Now, I don't know if they survive for any length of time. Again, I don't know too much about worms. But maybe today what made me feel good about picking up that worm and putting it in the grass was some sort of karmic slate that I cleaned today. I immediately thought of my friend. I used to do a lot of traveling with a friend, and we went to a shop in Toronto once where the clerk counted me back too much change, and I stopped the clerk and said, you're giving me back too much change. I only gave you a 10, you're counting back for a 20. Anyhow, when we got outside the shop, she grabbed me and she said, are you stupid? You're never do it. She really laid into me, and then I said, well, what if the person got fired because their bank was short? And she said, well, then they shouldn't be in that line of work. If they can't count money, you're doing them a favor. You're getting them out of something that they shouldn't be doing anyway. Interestingly enough, my friend didn't think that was stealing. And yet, in my mind, it was. And I imagine it's kind of like white lies versus real lies. White lies being when you don't tell the full truth, when you keep something quiet, where you know that maybe you could speak up. My friend, on the other hand, felt like she was helping somebody move out of something that they shouldn't be into, and possibly hurrying them into something that they should be into. What an imbecile.